To understand the effectiveness of STOIC strategies, first we need to learn a little about the brain. We're going to focus on the thinking part of the brain, the cerebral cortex, and the amygdala, which is our emotional brain. So the way that these two parts of our brain respond to our environment have a big impact on the development of the brain and on daily learning. So first, let's talk about stress hormones and neurotransmitters. So a stress hormone that you've probably heard of is cortisol. Now, cortisol increases under stress. It's activated by the amygdala, that emotional part of our brain. It interferes with hippocampal function, and the hippocampus is a part of the brain also, and it helps with memory. And cortisol also inhibits transfer to long-term memory, which is what our main goal is at school, is to help transfer information to long-term memory. Now, cortisol flow is caused by harsh reactions in language, fear or expecting stress or a pattern of stress, concerns and perceptions about failure or offense. So we definitely don't want to have atmospheres that include these characteristics because they cause cortisol flow, and that cortisol flow shuts down the thinking brain and keeps us in our emotional brain. When we're in our emotional brain, the rest of the brain is not functioning properly, not thinking clearly. What we want to have flowing are neurotransmitters instead of those stress hormones. So neurotransmitters like serotonin and dopamine, for example, if we have those flowing, those activate that prefrontal cortex. That's the thinking part of the brain. That's what we want activated. They also support the function of the hippocampus, which, remember, helps memory. And they also help to increase transfer from short-term memory to long-term memory. So we want that dopamine and serotonin flow, and the atmosphere that encourage that are having clear and consistent expectations, having a non-threatening environment, an environment that's safe, having positive interactions, movement, and challenge in our classrooms. So you'll see that the strategies that are part of that STOIC strategy acronym, you'll see those different aspects of classroom environment reflected in the strategies that we'll be teaching in this course, so that we have a brain where the prefrontal cortex is activated and not one where the amygdala is triggered easily and takes over. On the next slide, you're going to read a little about, or you're going to actually see a video, and you'll have this fact sheet about trauma. So it'll explain a little more about what trauma is and how it affects our students.